We're here because free speech is under attack. We're here because people are being convinced that socialism works. We're here because people are being judged guilty until proven innocent. We are fighting back with facts. This is not a safe zone, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is the raw, naked truth.
Russian and Chinese war games, the IDF raids an Iranian weapons facility, a win for Trump in Georgia, and more. Welcome to the Raw Naked Truth. I'm your host, Eric Lopkin, and here's the news you need to know. Russia and China this week engaged in the largest military drills in 30 years after they launched joint naval and air exercises spanning both hemispheres on Tuesday, according to a confirmed report by Reuters. The Russian Defense Ministry said the week-long war games will include 90,000 troops, 400 warships, submarines, and support vessels, along with 120 planes and helicopters spread across the Pacific and the Arctic Oceans and the Mediterranean, Caspian, and Baltic Seas. The exercises, dubbed Ocean 24, coincided with meetings in Brussels between the U.S. and the European Union, in which the issue of security in the Indo-Pacific, as well as China's support for Russia amid the war in Ukraine, were addressed. The U.S. accused Beijing of crossing a line and providing very substantial support to Russia after more than 2.5 years of war and sanctions that are said to have begun taking a toll on its military stockpiles. These are not dual-use capabilities, U.S. Deputy Secretary of State Kurt Campbell told reporters in reference to the latest material supplies China provided Russia. These are basically being applied directly to the Russian war machine. Israeli Defense Forces special forces raided an Iranian weapons facility in Syria shortly before a series of strikes in the region, killing at least 18 people and wounding dozens of others, according to reports. Initial reports did not indicate that any Israeli troops had been on the ground during the operation, but the Times of Israel cited opposition Syrian TV, revealing that Israeli helicopters hovered over the ground while special forces descended by rope. The IDF special forces clashed with forces on the ground, killing a number of Syrians and capturing up to 4 Iranians. The U.S.-owned Arabic-language Al-Hura network noted that the intensity of the raids and the death toll were unusual. The Syrian Foreign Ministry condemned the attack as blatant aggression, saying nearby residential areas had material damage. Syria claimed that the strike hit a scientific research center, but the opposition reported that the facilities belonged to the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, dedicated to developing ballistic missiles and drones. The nature of the facility remains in contention. However, Western officials have long asserted the facility serves as a weapons manufacturing plant that produces chemical weapons like sarin gas. Syrian authorities have denied these allegations and maintain the facility is purely a scientific research center. Former Democratic strategist and Hillary Clinton advisor Mark Penn is calling for an internal investigation of ABC News and its debate moderators following the recent debate between former President Trump and Vice President Harris. Penn says the performance that ABC moderators gave brings up questions of, is the process fair? I care less about who wins than I care about the process, Penn said, because I believe, ultimately, if the process is really fair and people get to see the choices, the voters will, over time, make good decisions. An ABC whistleblower has stated that the news division had conversations with the Harris campaign in which she was given sample questions that were substantially the same as the questions asked, and that they guaranteed her that she would not be subject to fact-checking while they would challenge Trump's comments. Senator Richard Blumenthal predicted that Americans will be shocked and appalled when lawmakers release their interim report on the assassination attempt on former President Trump and the security failures of those involved in protecting the GOP presidential nominee. Acting U.S. Secret Service Director Ronald Rowe provided senators with an update Thursday on the investigation into the failed assassination in a closed-door meeting. I think the American people are going to be shocked, astonished, and appalled by what we will report to them about the failures by the Secret Service in this assassination attempt on the former president, Blumenthal stated. But I think they also ought to be appalled and astonished by the failure of the Department of Homeland Security to be more forthcoming, to be as candid and frank as it should be to them in terms of providing information. A judge dismissed 2 criminal counts in the Georgia 2020 election interference case against former President Donald Trump and 1 other count against allies of the former president. Fulton County Judge Scott McAfee ruled that Georgia prosecutors had no authority to bring the charges, which related to alleged filing of false documents in federal court. President Trump and his legal team in Georgia have prevailed once again, Trump attorney Steve Sadow said. The trial court has decided that counts 15 and 27 in the indictment must be quashed and dismissed. Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis had charged Trump related to alleged 2020 election interference. Trump pleaded not guilty to all counts. Fani Willis is currently under her own investigation. A Springfield, Ohio resident sounded the alarm about the city's Haitian migrant surge, warning her community is like a dystopian nightmare as it struggles to provide basic resources for taxpayers. Springfield resident Diana Daniels joined Fox and Friends to describe what life has been like in recent years since thousands of Haitians have been transported to their city, starving of resources like housing and health care, while also having an impact on public safety. It's like living in a dystopian nightmare, Daniels told Lawrence Jones on Thursday. You hope you wake up and it's 2019 again, and then you realize it's 2024 and it's the same thing over and over again, day after day. It's hard sometimes to get up in the morning and hear residents that I've known for years struggle. This is a paycheck to paycheck kind of town, working class. The citizens that depend on our social services like health care, the Rocking Horse Community Health Center, going down to the Social Security office for benefits, are waiting in line and they're not getting the services they need. That's the Raw Naked Truth. You can catch every episode of The Raw Naked Truth at xvadio.com, the Apple Podcasts app, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Audible, Amazon Music, and other platforms that respect freedom of speech. We'll see you next time.